Welcome everyone to another, Cars 2 modding tutorial. Today I'm going to be talking about Matryoshka and what it's for and how it can be used, all that good stuff. So Matryoshka is a brand new Cars 2 modding tool that had just released about a month ago, I'd say. And this tool aims to replace C2DITOOLS or Cars 2 Disney Infinity tools that I had previously covered on my channel. And going forward, this tool is going to be mostly the main one. C2DITOOLS is kind of going to be faded out into existence. It's not really going to be used as much anymore. This one's going to have more support because this tool is a lot cleaner, it is a lot easier to use, and it takes a lot less work to get this working than C2DITOOLS does. So there's a lot of new things that this tool has that were issues with C2DITOOLS, mostly being some int and uint values, as well as like trying to get textures to be extracted and encrypted with OCTs and other files like that. This tool aims to make all of those processes more automatic and not as necessary as before, which makes things a lot more streamlined, a lot easier, so that there's less things you have to worry about when using this tool. So this video is mostly going to serve as a tutorial on how to get it and how to use it. So first things first, you want to go to this GitHub page, github.com/offsetting. And what you want to do is download the latest version. Just go here to repositories and then go to offsetting, go to releases, latest, and now you just go to offsetting_windows.exe, and then you can just download it anywhere. So I have it in my downloads folder right here, and now all you want to do is head over to your Cars 2 modding or just your Cars 2 directory. I'm going to quickly show you how this can be used. So I'm just going to pull up Cars 2 PC, the Steam version. I'm going to go to assets. You can go anywhere. I'm going to go to characters. I'm going to go to McQueen's folder right here. I'm going to extract his zip, extract it right here. Alright, now I'm going to go into his folder even further, going to look for his OCT, which is right here. And what you want to do for this tool is you want to copy and paste the exe to every directory that you're going to be editing an OCT in. So any file you want to edit, make sure the exe is in the exact same directory as that file. Otherwise, the tool will not work. So the file can be called anything, or the exe can be called anything. It doesn't have to be called offsetting windows. I'm going to just call it Matryoshka, since that's its internal name. So here we have it, Matryoshka. And basically what you want to do, it's very similar to C2DITOOLS, just without all that bullshit Python setup and the having to download all that stuff from the command prompt and whatnot. So this is far easier. You just download a simple exe file, drag and drop it wherever you need to use it, and then what you want to do is open the terminal. So here's where things make it a little trickier, but don't worry, it's still very simple. If you use C2DITOOLS, this should be very, very similar because the commands you're going to be using are very similar as well. So what you want to do to start off is you want to make sure you type in the name of your exe. If you renamed it, make sure you type it properly. Make sure you type in the name that you renamed it to. So for example, if I named the exe Mario.exe, I would instead erase this and type in Mario.exe, for example. But in my case, I'm just going to call it Matryoshka. So I'm going to erase Mario.exe, type in Matryoshka.exe, and then following that, you want to type in OCT. So for a wide range of files, OCT is going to work for most of them. So As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if .mer works, but I know for a fact .tfx works, .bent works, .oct works. So I'll test this in a second, but for now we're just gonna decode McQueen's OCT. We're just gonna do that. So right here, you want to type in OCT. You can either type in decode or encode. However, since we don't have anything to encode, we're gonna be decoding McQueen's OCT right now. So we type in decode, and then you're gonna want to type in the input file. So the input file is McQueen.oct, and there are two brand new options that you can decode in. You can decode in .json or not .xml, in .yaml. So those two are the two new formats that you can decode in. So I recommend .json. So we're going to be calling our JSON file McQueen.json, and then all you want to do now is, so you can do -t to unpack the textures. So let's do that. So we're going to press enter. It'll tell you that the textures have been extracted. It tells you what endian the files are in. So if you look, as you can see right here, our JSON has been decoded and our textures have been unpacked. So if we go in here, we go to characters. So these are shared textures. In the global folders, these are textures that are shared within the entire cast. So before, with C2DITOOLS, when unpacking textures, all the textures would just show up in one simple folder, right? But this is a little bit different. This shows character specific textures and globally shared textures. So as you can see right here, you can see that these textures are shared within the entire cast. So we have the chrome texture, specular texture, all that, and then the brake light. And if we go back, we have McQueen specific textures. So if we go in here, we can see McQueen's PC textures and all of its low quality glory. So we have his eyes, his body, all that good stuff. And if we go back, we now have his JSON. So it should be right here. So we can open that. I recommend using a software like Notepad++ or Visual Studio Code to open these sorts of files, simply because Notepad just doesn't look very great. It's not very readable, and it's very difficult to track any changes you make in Notepad. So as you can see, everything just kind of blends in together. Can't really see anything that well. You can't really distinguish anything. It's a lot more readable than XML, thankfully, but it's still not that great, and I highly recommend getting some actual coding software to do this. So as you can see here, we have our subnetwork pool. It's the exact same layout as what we had previously in XMLs, but it's far more readable. They're much easier formats to understand. So as you can see here, we have subnetwork pool separated by the actual subnetwork and then the header strings. So we have all the header strings for the characters, and then we have the header string indices, all that stuff. Basically stuff that isn't super important. So we're going to head down to things that we have seen all the time, such as index stream pool. You can search for that. Going to go here, index stream pool, and here we have it, index stream pool right here. So if you look closely, you may notice a couple differences right off the bat. So we still have our lengths, of course. We still have our index buffer reference, our index buffer offset, right? But what is missing here are the int/uint values. So before, with XML, as you can see here with XML, we had our int values right here. And depending on how big your model or your textures were, these had to be changed to account for that. But no longer do you have to change these. It's far easier. You don't need to change those at all. All you have to do is change the lengths and offset, all that good stuff. No more uint bullshit values that you need to change. There's a lot of stuff that is just automated from now on, and it makes things a lot easier. And as you can see, comparing to XML, This is a lot easier to digest. It is more spread out, so you can see the different index streams better. Everything is highlighted differently, as opposed to this, where everything just kind of blends in. It's all a reddish kind of color, and it just looks very ugly. Like, everything is just set up by these numbers, and it's just very difficult to see for the most part. So this tool is a lot easier, a lot simpler to use. So as you can see, same thing applies here to vertex stream. So here we have vertex stream 0, the very first one. We have the length, width, all that stuff. We also have the elements here. Same thing as before. Texture pool has also been changed, as well as material pool. Everything is going to have this new format. So as we can see here, we have our texture pool. Names are now far easier to read. So if we go back to XML, you can see right here, everything is a lot harder to read. We still have our UINTs again, unfortunately. But for the JSON file, the brand new format, as you can see, everything is a lot easier to read. Everything's spread out a lot better. So this is why this new tool came to be, so that people, new modders, new people seeking to mod this game could have a easier and more streamlined process for modding the game, because XML was a little too difficult to read. Really only experienced modders could really get a grasp of how this worked, and it was pretty difficult to try to explain how XML and how this stuff kind of worked to brand new people. So thankfully, our beloved programmers in Cars 2 Modding had come with this brand new tool, a lot better than the previous one, and it can be further expanded, unlike C2DITOOLS. The code base in C2DITOOLS was kind of it wasn't that great, so it was kind of difficult to build off of, but with Matryoshka and offsetting, there's a lot that can be built upon with that tool. So this tool is going to be the one that's mainly going to be updated from now on. No more C2DITOOLS, it's going to be basically unused. There are a few uses that it still has, but later on that might not matter, as Matryoshka might get updated to contain those uses. But as you can see here, looking further into the JSON file, as you can see, we have the name of the texture right here. If we go to our texture folder and we go to global, as you can see, everything should align here. So this is a global texture. As you can see here, file, characters, global. So global will show up right here, and then it will be in we, maps, and then spherical map 01. So as you can see, everything aligns perfectly with the texture folder. And if we go back, same thing with McQueen. So as you can see, characters, McQueen, we, maps. So McQueen, we, maps. And then we have his tires texture right here, just as it says right here. Material pool is also a lot easier to read. You have your shader for the eyes right here, because it's the eye shader, as you can see. UUID doesn't really matter too much. And as you can see, we have the texture references. So texture reference 1, it is referencing this texture. And then we have 2, references this texture right here. And then 0, which is referencing this one, as you can see here. And then we have all the property entries. These are basically the property entries that are used within this shader, this effect right here. So this effect supports property diffuse color A1, specular color A1, environment reflectivity A1, and all this other stuff. And yeah, that's basically the brand new format and the brand new tool. I'm going to show a couple different file formats just to show what works. Right, so earlier when I mentioned that Matryoshka can't do everything C2DITOOLS can, it can do most of it. The only thing it can't do is turn folders into zips. It can't encrypt a folder into a zip, and I will show you right now. So if we go back in here, let's say I don't have a McQueen zip, I don't want to delete it, so I'll just call it McQueen OG. the game can't read this. The game has to read a file called mcqueen.zip. So let's say I want to turn this into a zip. Well, as of now, it's not really possible because the tool doesn't support that. So I'll just show you right now. So we can just do matryoshka.exe. As you can see here, I did the help command. These are the only commands that are available: help, DCT, OCT, and X360. There is no, I guess, pack command or unpack command for zips. So unfortunately, Matryoshka as of now can't pack zips for you. However, you will need C2DITOOLS still for this. So I can do Python -m C2DITOOLS, and you do the Y command to pack zips. This is covered in a previous video. I'll link that video below. mcqueen.zip, and there, as you can see, a mcqueen zip if I press enter. And as you can see, a mcqueen zip should show up right here, as you can see. So yeah, Matryoshka doesn't support that right now, but in the future it will. So look out for that. Whenever the tool gets updated, I'll update it. I'll update the description and I'll announce it in the comment section to tell you what exactly has been updated or has been added. So make sure to look out for that. And updates will also be announced in the Cars2 modding Discord server, and I will link that down below. So make sure you join if you have any issues with Matryoshka or with anything Cars2 modding related. Make sure you go down there in the server below. So let's go over here. Let's go back. I'm going to copy matryoshka.exe because it has to be in the location you want it in. So let's go back. Let's edit a couple map files now. So let's go to worlds. Let's go to, what have I not? Let's decode me oil, which is oil hunter. So let's do that. And then it should show up here. Let's paste matryoshka.exe here. Open a new terminal. We can copy the previous command. Let's do that. So in this case, you don't need to do -t because this is a MERF. We're going to be decoding a MERF file this time, this one. So we can delete everything here. So we're going to have the exact same command. OCT, like I said, works with various different file formats. I'm not sure if it works with MER, but we're about to find out. So we can type in me oil.mer and then me_oil.json. And we press enter. Here we have it. Read file with endian little. Our JSON has been decoded. And now, yeah, as you can see here, it works with MER files. We have all of the map information listed right here. Although I'm not really sure what this is for, because I haven't really looked into this file format that much. But as you can see here, all of the map stuff has been decoded properly. So I'm not exactly sure what all of this is for. I haven't really tapped into MER files all too much. Nobody really has. It's still kind of a mystery, but hopefully at some point we'll have proper MER documentation. That would be pretty nice. TFX files also work. So if we go to effects, we paste Matryoshka in here, and then we open another terminal. As you can see, this will work with these effects. So let's do matryoshka.exe, OCT decode. Let's do solidcolor.tfx. Let's decode that one. Solidcolor.tfx. Solidcolor.json. So this is a big endian file, which doesn't really matter too much, although this game mostly runs on little endian files. It only reads those. So let's look for our JSON. It should be right here. Open it. As you can see, right here, we have just decoded a TFX file. So TFX files are essentially the shaders of this game. We can't really edit much of the shaders. We can't edit the actual like shader code, but we can edit I suppose the parameters, stuff like that. We can't add new parameters, but we can add parameters that are missing from certain shaders in the game. So yeah, this is basically Matryoshka. This is how you use this tool. It is very similar to C2DITOOLS. It's just a lot more streamlined. It's a lot easier to use and a lot easier to digest. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this is a good introduction to Matryoshka and how you can use it. We'll be making more tutorials in the future. I will be making a brand new mod combination tutorial for those who want to combine different mods together. Because as of now, there is a mod manager being worked on at the moment, but it's not, the ETA for it releasing is to be decided at this point. So we're not sure when that's going to be coming out at all. But for that, I'm going to be making some tutorials in the near future, so look out for that. And I'll see you guys in the next video.